from Denovo. Whole practice management software built for modern law firms. Your practice performance matters.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome along to the penultimate session in this series of caseload coaching. We'll actually be finishing this series up next week. Next week's session will be focusing on time recording and billing, so you can look forward to that. And then we'll be taking about a month off and then come back with more sessions beyond that. But in today's session, we'll be showing you how to make simple document automation at the heart of your business processes. Stephen will show you how using our document management feature can help avoid copy and paste mishaps with easy access style templates and options to record time, create a follow-up event, reminder, and even email direct to the client, as well as how to keep your matters organized by bookmarking significant events depending on work type. So we're going to get into this quite quickly. I just want to remind you all that please feel free to ask questions at any time, and we'll pick them up once Stephen finishes the demonstration. So let's begin.
Thanks, Grant. So learning objectives for this week. We're going to look at document creation according to context or work type. So how you would manage your templates that are in the system to select which documents to produce. That will incorporate the template section, the ability to access recently used templates, how to search for templates beyond that. And then we'll look at, once you've created the template, what the options are in terms of event details, follow-ups. We have the ability to record time at that stage as well if required. And then we'll just finish looking a bit about the differences between bookmarks and tags. Both offer quite a significant feature in the software now. So we'll look at how that exists across different work types and how the firm-wide tagging can work, and you can then search on for key documents just as the event starts to fill up. So let's jump into CaseLoad. We're all getting familiar with this view, and we'll go into a few different matters just to show you some examples, again based on the different work types, what to expect in terms of data page functionality and things like that as well. So we'll go into this one. You'll see we've got some CRM analysis, and we've got, because this is a guardianship one, we've got a guardianship data page tagged against that. So before we even produce the document, I just want to run over what the data page looks like and what capability you have to extend what data is collected against a client versus your normal matter and analysis. So the data page, you can see we've got the capability for having text boxes, address fields, date fields are in there as well, so you can select those. They can be fully edited as you go through the data page. And because the data page is mapped with a merge code, we're able to use that data page data to populate the template style documents that we produce. You see we can have drop down lists in there as well. So if we save that data page, there is a document production button at this stage, but that will only work if you have specific templates mapped to can only be produced as a result of a data page. Most of the templates produced in the system are at matter level because we can still collect the data page data, but we want them to be able to have the full option at matter level. So that's why you see that document production there button there. But if you do click on it and don't see any documents, that's the reason why. Go back to matter level, and you'll see when you click on document production at matter level, you get the option as to what the context is as to what document you want to produce. So that might be to matter in person, just the matter. We'll look at linked companies in a little while, other addresses, and that option we've just explained regarding the data page. So we stick with the top option in this instance. You'll see the next view we get is which template do we want to run. clicking on template type, you will tend to have categories in here of templates that will be available to you based on your own system. So they will look slightly different to what you see on the screen here. In this instance, I know that I'm in a guardianship, so I'm going to choose a guardianship style, and you'll see that that changes the grouping underneath, so we know which templates are available in this specific folder context. So we'll run one of those in a second, but I just want to cover off the most recently used, like we have with recents and favorites in the system. As you start to use templates and run them through the system, most recently used gets populated, and you'll see the ones that you were in. So if you're tending to use maybe 4 or 5 documents on a regular basis without even having to tick the folder drop down, if you were just to come in straight to most recently used, then the templates that you tend to run will appear there in the drop down. Further down, you'll see this is a reasonably small list of template documents. If you find it's a much larger list and there is something specific you're going to look for, so in this instance, we'll start typing for the word welfare, and you'll see there's 3 documents have appeared because those letters appear in those templates. So we can search on file name, or we can search on description. Description is a name we give to pretty much all templates in the system, so you have a good idea as to what you're going to get when you run it. So if we go down, we're just going to pick this one. So we can either click and pick next, or we do have the option to double click the template. So we double click that template. We're now at the event creation stage. So we've picked the document to run. We now want to say, right, this is what I want the document to save as. That tends to default to correspondence letter sent, because that's the majority of cases is what you're going to do. The summary is the name of the description of the template. That's editable, so you can change that in there. So you can just update the text in there, and that becomes the event summary. So we'll update that. Details are if you want to store something in there, say you want to put a note against the document because you may be collaborating with another person in the firm. This might be you creating it for someone and they want to pick on it. You can put some notes in there, or the details can also be the details of an email. So if you wanted to start typing an email in there, you can put this in this details tab, and when you then email that attachment, the details of what come in there. Creating a follow-up is essentially creating a planned event. So at this stage, if you're sending this letter out and you're expecting a reply from the letter, you can put a planned event in the system. So we'll put in one for next week, say the 29th. You can assign that planned event to another user in the firm if you wish. You can also create give this a context as well, and you would maybe want to put something in there to follow up on that one next week. So that's you creating the document, the current event, which will have the document attached to it. You can populate the email if you wish, and you're creating the follow-up planned event from there as well. We'll do an example on posting time in a little while on a different template. So I just want to run through this process first. So clicking next, you see we are presented with some options in here. We default it that we just want to create the document, because in the majority of instances, you're just looking to create the document in that stage. You can go straight to email. So if you know you're not going to edit the document, you're confident in the data and the data page, we can go straight to email. But in most cases, we're going to want to edit the document before we do something with it. So clicking on finish will build the document for us. So if we just open up Word, you'll see the document's been created. For the purposes of this demo, we've brought the data page data in red, just so you can see the ability of the merge code data coming into the system. So that's brought that in here. And you'll see right throughout this document, everything that had the merge codes and the data page fields that you've seen is being brought into this template. So that's all been populated for you. The data relates to the matter because it's been saved against the matter. So you're not having to recreate documents or have erroneous copy and paste errors in there. So we close that down. We'll just have a little look at the events view, and you can see there's the letter being created with the attachment, the one that we've just looked at. And we've also got our follow-up event created for next week for that as well. So that's now sitting in our planned events against this matter. And it means that we can do something with that next week if we've not heard anything back. So if we'll go and look at a different matter. So just to give you some other examples of data pages, but this time we'll do a little bit of time recording on this one. So this one's been set up for time recording, and we'll cover time recording in a much larger topic next week, but this is a very high level overview of time recording at data page level. So you see this data page here, there's nothing in this at the moment, but you do have the ability to have multiple data pages at different levels. So this one happens to have some conveyancing fees attached to it, and we've got some range of data in there as well because it's all been filled out. So you can see the capability. Because I'm now in a conveyancing work type, I'm getting different embedded data pages in here. So it's giving me different bits of information. So if we produce a document based on that, you'll see we get the same options. Just want to point out one other thing. So I'm going to cancel that at this stage. If we're in the events view, the document production button does live there as well, but it also knows that if I'm in the events view, I'm not needing to choose a matter context because it knows that I'm running it against this matter. So I'm not at linked company or data page level, I'm at matter event level. So you don't get that first splash screen window. So if you're in events and you click on document production, this is the screen you'll be presented with. It won't be the one that allows you to select a context. So it's good to know the distinction between each of those. So this time I'm just going to select a conveyancing purchase letter, and I'm just going to run through that process now. So same as before, the event options, but this time I'm going to post time against it. Now, we have a couple of options in the system. We can either post time and the time box will appear, or we've just added a new feature where you can click on next, create the document, and once the document's created, that's when you get the ability to post the time. So you'll see the post time window is now left on screen, but I have the document produced. So I can now work on the document, get it to its completion stage, and then I will know that that's been done, and I know how much then to charge because I can choose my activity and I can also add a word count. So as I put the word count in there, you see that's going to charge 4 pages, 4 unit type, and the charge is going to come through in there. So a couple of things we've added there, the ability to add word count, but also that the time capture box can come up post creating the document, so you can get everything done at that stage. That was one of the requests we had, that some people needed the post time option to appear beyond the creation of the document because you don't know how many words are in it and you don't know how long it's going to take you to produce it. So that's why it now comes up at that stage. So if we maximize the events window, we're going to cover bookmarks and tags, and we're going to look at that over a couple of different work types because just like most other parts of the system, we have specific naming conventions available depending on the work type you are in. So bookmark events does live up here. You can click on that and you'll see various different options. I've put some examples in here as to what types of bookmarks I would expect from a conveyancing transaction. So if we scroll down the file, we will see there we have some of the items have been bookmarked against specific types of bookmark context. So if we click on this one here, for example, that's a completed document. So we maybe want to bookmark that as I will just choose missives in this example. And we'll just do another few just to show you what then happens. So we've now got 2 bookmarked, but we know we have some further bookmarked in the file. Bookmarks are specific to the individual fee earner. So if you bookmark an item, that's not firm-wide bookmarked, that's just for your own view. So we click on bookmarks and we choose missives. We click on bookmarks, show bookmarked events, and click on missives, reports, and say offers. You see it now only shows me the ones that have those bookmark contexts against them. So I can be very specific, or I can choose the items that I want to be bookmarked. So these are the ones that we've kind of, if you like, post-it noted the file to say these are the ones that we're going to want to be picking out later in terms of a bookmark. So that's bookmarks at that level. We can also have tagging, and I'll show you when we get into some different work types. I will show you some other capabilities, but the tagging capability, if switched on, allows you to tag events with a specific context. So if we pick all tags on that one, and I'm just going to clear the bookmarks as well while I'm here. Right, so I've selected every tagging item available to me, because in this instance I wasn't sure which ones would have been tagged. So if I click on that one there, you'll see in the event view we have tags as missives and offers. So if you're in an event and you want to tag something as something specific, we would populate this list of things that you would want to tag, and you're able to select the ones that are appropriate to that particular one. So if we were to untick offers, for example, just leave that as missives and hit save, you'll see it's just removed that from the view. And we can search in the tags against individual ones. So I know that there was that one for missives, and you'll see it's just shown the two that have been tagged. So that one there has been tagged as missives, and this one here has also been tagged as missive. So those are the ones that are just specific to that particular one. In other work types, so if we come out of that conveyancing transaction and we'll now go into this RTA case, if we look at events from there and we look at bookmarks, you'll see we've got a completely different set of names available to us in terms of bookmarks in there. So that just showing you that because it shows you the ability to only have bookmarks against specific work types. So we have about 8 available that can be done for each one individually. The other one I wanted to show, if we go to document production again and pick a letter, and we'll just pick a style here. Bear with me. So let's just choose share letter to client. So I'm going to produce this letter. And it's got some details in here. So we refer to the above, and we'll just put in the date and we'll hit save. Against that event, you'll see that letter's now being created. So that's been done, and you see the details we've just put in there. If we go into the event, you'll see we've got some options up in here in terms of creating revisions. So the reason behind event or document revisions was the ability to create a revision as a new event, but also create a new document for that event. So you see this one's been created as a revision from the previous event. So if we hit save and exit on those, you'll see I've now got my original shell letter, but I've also got revision 1. So that document is essentially the same. But if I was to open that up and put some other information in there, I'll just put a couple of bits of information in there and hit save. And we then go into the event, we can click on view, and you'll see all other revisions against that particular one. So we've got the original one, but we've also got the, just click on that again. We've got the original event. That's better. So if I'm in the latest revision, I can see that revision that we've just added that bit of information to, and the original document that was produced in the first instance. So as we start to make changes to these documents, the revision history is preserved, and you're able to see the data as you go through, as the documents get produced. The other option we have, which we have looked at previously, just to cover that off, is the ability to run smart events. So smart events is essentially document production, but it can do a lot more document production actions at the one time. So we can build in the capability to run multiple forums. So in this instance, I'm going to select the criminal forms one, and you'll see, just like the document production options that we have, we can do the same thing but have 2, 3, 4, 5 documents produced at the one time for editing, and they get saved against the one event. So those documents have now been produced, and if we look at the word icon, you can see all 4 documents have been produced, along with all the data page items that have come in for that particular client. So all those information you see in bold has come from a data page that's been filled out against this matter. So if we just look at that view there, you can see those forms have been created. We've decided to create an automatic follow-up event from that one because we want some answers on some of these forms, but you can see all the dates have came in for the different parts of the inquiry on this particular matter, and all of that has came from this car details page, and the information has been brought in from them, and it's been shared against the document system. So that's the events view level. So I suppose just from a document management point of view, the difference between events and documents, just to finalise this week's session, the events view has every single event, but some of those events will have multiple attachments, like that one does there. So those 4 are listed on the drop down. If you're looking at the matter in a documents view, these are listed individually, so you will see them in the list of being able to view the documents in the file, and we know we can filter on all of those as we go through. But that's essentially the 2 different views. Once documents have been produced, you have the ability to view them at event level, or indeed at document level. So just one other thing I did want to cover, if we go back to that guardianship option. So we've got a little bit of time left. If we look at the linked company section, you'll see we've got some linked companies in here. So that one, we've got a court assigned in there, and we've got a doctor tagged in there as well. So if we do document production at this point, so we're at linked company level, you do get some different options in there. So we could actually write to both linked companies at the same time. So I'm going to tick both in there. And you see the context changes because it tags as just the letters that are available at linked company level. So if we were just to choose one of those, you'll see it'll produce the document like before. So there's the one to the doctor with details of the case and some other bits of information to be filled out. But if we scroll down, it's also produced one to the court as well with the same information. So you can actually have multiple documents produced to different companies using the linked company method in CaseLoad. And of course, those get added to the events as well. So they're now in there as individual documents in the system as well. So that covers off the majority of what I wanted to show this week. If you're interested in any of the features like bookmarks and tags, then those are the ones I would urge you to get in touch with us, and we can go over the options and then to have them embedded to different work types.
Yep, absolutely, Stephen. That's great. We've not had any questions just now. So, yeah, if anyone does have anything they would like to ask about document management or anything else related to CaseLoad, as always, you can reach out to Stephen or the rest of the team about that. This session has been recorded. We appreciate that you might want to watch it back. We will send that out to you tomorrow afternoon, so you have it available. It'll then basically live on our website for the foreseeable future, so you'll be able to view that any time. So that's the end of this week's session. Like I said earlier, next week we'll be focusing on time recording and billing. We hope that you'll join us for that. Just like to say thank you very much for joining us today, and we'll see you next week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.